Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time I've dug out my old publishers' catalogues and my books and order forms right back to the 1960s. Ones I've never shown really on the channel before. I've even got some publishers' contracts as well. It's sort of like miscellaneous paperback related bits and pieces which I think are absolutely fascinating, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy looking through these as well. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's take a look. Okay, so we'll start off with this one. So this is the Independent Arts and Book Review, dated 29th of April 2005. And I have a funny feeling that this was published basically to tie in with the book Penguin by Design by Phil Baines. I have a funny feeling that that's what it was. And it had like a little sort of summary of Penguin there. So that's why I had that great front cover and also the two-page article inside. So yeah, quite nice, that one. Really massive piece, that. So that's why that's in there. Now these are not in any sort of order, but I have tried to do it in some sort of logical order. Now these are author contracts between various books. So these are this one's an author contract with Penguin. They've come from the library of author John Burt, who wrote a lot of movie and TV tie-ins, a lot of science fiction in the early days as well for Panther. This is a contract between him and Penguin for the book Prince Regent, dated January 1980. Here's another one here, a favourite of mine. He also wrote the first two, well, the only two novelisations for UFO, the Jerry Anderson series, and he wrote those under the pseudonym, was it Richard Mile, I think it was. But that's his contract for those. And also Robert Mile, and also for the UFO books to be reprinted in Japanese as well. So this is a Japanese contract from August 1971 for UFOs books 1 and 2. That's pretty cool, isn't it? This is a letter from Herbert Van Thal, signed Bertie, to somebody, NYC Harrison. Thank you for your letter of the 25th of June. I've passed your acceptance on to Pan. There is no immediate rush for the next Pan Book of Horror Stories, say the end of this year. I think it was to Mary Danby. I think that letter was for. I mean, she had some short stories included in the Pan Book of Horror Stories. Quite nice, that. These are... This is the contract once again, and the reprint rights to John Burke's adaptation of The Beatles' A Hard Day's Night. So that's what they are. So this is all stuff that's sort of in with my larger formats or bits and pieces. This is interesting. So this is a Corgi catalogue. I believe it's 1960s. It says publication date September the 22nd for this particular one. And I'm pretty sure this is, yeah, it's 60s because it's all old money, 3 and 6s and things like that. So here we are, Corgi New Title, there we are, September 1967. So this would have been the books published then, and look at that, there's got the Invaders there, a Bonanza tie-in, some Doc Savage, the Dirty Dozen up there, some cool stuff there, isn't there? And this was like the bit that was inside, which was the actual order form that I would imagine the bookseller would use. That's pretty nice, isn't it? So I love this sort of stuff, old like subsheets and things like that, and bookseller or publisher catalogues. Absolutely love them. Here's another biggie. As I said, they're almost in size order. So it's another Corgi one. Similar sort of period by the looks of it. June 1967. This one hasn't got an insert inside, but once again some pretty cool titles on display. Look at that copy there of The Shape of Things to Come, and a Ray Bradbury, Timeless Stories for Today and Tomorrow. I think I got that one recently, actually. That one, that very one. Corgi mini books, non-fiction. Looks like one more in this sort of style. Must have got these all together. Corgi Brings You Peace and War, The War Babies. Yeah, not so much in nice condition. This was November 67. All from the that Great year, 1967. Fantastic. Mickey Spillane there. John Creasy. Another Fu Manchu. I got some of these. There's the Disney film, That Darn Cat. Good stuff. Yeah, don't see those very often, I wouldn't have thought. Now what's this? It's Corgi again. Actually, oh, it's earlier. December 1964. God, it's massive. Let's see if it gets like tabloid size. Look at the bottom half there. So it's sort of Killers. It's sort of done like a newspaper, isn't it? There's some Mickey Spillanes there. On the back, promoting the latest crime titles. This is December 64. These books would have been published. Oh look, there, would you believe it? Look at that. I wonder if my friend Steve is watching. This was the year that the New Writings in SF Book 1 was published. And there it is. That's probably the first time we see the cover. I don't think the cover ended up looking like that, actually. And the first Doc Savages. Look, there is the very first one, The Man of Bronze. This is pretty cool, isn't it? Wowee. That's awesome. And also massive. I'm very impressed with that. That's actually really quite smart, that. Now this one I remember. So this was given to me in the 90s by a friend of mine. Now, sadly no longer with us. He's called Chris. And Chris used to be a book rep for Random House. But in his early days, he was a book rep for Pan Books. And when he was training, Pan gave him this photocopy, it's double-sided, of a subsheet for 1957. And they made a point of saying that this is what a typical subsheet would look like, and how a book which was really sort of popular, like at this time, it was like Cockleshell Heroes, for example, had 100 ordered, whereas all the other new ones would be like 30s and 30s. They would say if it was a James Bond one, like a new Fleming title, you know, that number would like have another 0 on it. Right, what's this? This is something a bit smaller. This is Arrow Books from January and February and March 1965. So this is cool. So this has got a few Dennis Wheatleys in there. John Creasy again. This one reads more like a book, and at least I can actually fit it in the script. Look at that. The second Arrow Book of Horror. I don't remember ever coming across those. That's cool. Naomi Jacob. Oh, it's a fold out. This is just the sort of thing that reps would bring round. Look at the Dennis Wheatley list there. Wow. And it's funny because none of these have got bookshop stamps on, so I'm assuming they were never ever used for their intended purpose. And this is Arrow again, but it's a bit later and it's a bit larger. October to December 66. So what have we got? A new Dennis Wheatley. Bill for the Use of a Body. A Dracula's Guest, Bram Stoker. 3 Dennis Wheatley Black Magic stories back in print. Oh, that's good stuff, this, isn't it? I love this sort of stuff, I have to say. I mean, Arrow aren't one of my favourite publishers or anything like that, but just to see this sort of stuff is really, really cool. Because it was, you know, it wasn't for the general public, it was just really for bookshops, you know. This is a much later one, May 1989, but it was W.H. Allen, which became Star Books, which started distributing the Virgin list. So this has probably got some Doctor Who. Here we are, Target, look. It's got a list of the Doctor Who books, not all of them, by any means. The Time Traveller's Guide, that didn't end up having that jacket, actually. So, once again, quite cool for the Doctor Who collector. Chester Holmes, eh? Alison and Busby, look at that. And shrink wraps. So there was a 24 copy Doctor Who pack A, B, C and D. A 12 pack, a 60 and a 48 Doctor Who dump bin. Wow. I remember those dump bins and the dump bin headers. What's this? Hodder Books. Hodder paperback book group. This feels 60s to me. Doesn't say it, just says the dates, but I mean it's all in old money. Not as illustrated as some that we've seen. There's a few there. Hodder paperbacks. Denise Robbins, oh blimey. Some science fiction. What was listed there? John Lymington. Yeah, not the greatest of lists, shall we say. And I can't... Oh, look, Paperback Parade in Luton. I wonder if that's where these all came from. No actual year on that, but my suspicion is these are all very, very similar. Sort of like mid to late 60s. Paperback Parade again. This is just a little... like a little booklet. Spring 67. Yeah, I think that. And this is done Paperback Parade, published by the Book Promotion Service. That's just interesting, isn't it? Once again, it looks like, well, it's not, yeah, because this has got like, that's got a pan title there. So I wonder if this is something put out by the bookshop. It's all sorts. Yeah, look, the Penguin. It's got those ones with those great Alan Aldridge design jackets on. So this is, yeah, look, also, it's all publishers. Panther, look, the Avengers, look at that. That's cool, isn't it? How cool is this? Very, very nice, actually, this. All in colour. It's like pulling some of the real creme de la creme. Well, look at that's a page and a half. I've got every single book on that page bar that one. I've got the Dick Francis, the Robert Van Gullett, and the two, the Len Dayton and the, yeah, the two Len Daytons. Wowee. That's cool. Oh, that's one I'm after. Cotton Comes to Harlem in the Panther Crime Band. If anyone's got that one, I would definitely like that. This is a nice little thing, isn't it? All publishers represented by the look of it. It's designed to be almost like a bookmark. That's really nice. And I guess you could give that out, and any that you fancied, I guess your bookshop could order them. Well, look, there it was. It was to the bookseller, a Paperback Parade in Luton, Southampton and Reading. So they must have been a small chain. That's really, really nice, that item. Paper Max. So this was an imprint, wasn't it? Paper Max or Paper Max? October 1967. Yeah. A Macmillan imprint, or imprint of Macmillan. What's this? Oh, these I got recently from my friend Bob. A couple of pan order forms from January 72. You can see how this sort of fits into my collection here. Something a bit more unusual. So this is the flyer. In fact, this was the auction catalogue for books sold in celebration of the 50 years of Penguin's anniversary. I believe all the proceeds was going to go to charity, but the actual items were sold through Phillips auctioneers. A few interesting things, but nothing too special in actual fact. This is Penguin English Library. So we're on to some Penguin ones now. Penguin English Library, 1983, so a little bit later than what we've been looking at. Just stuff that's sort of come my way, really. Penguin Celebrations, that was in 2007. I was actually selling these. On reflection, not exactly that great, but, you know, they are what they are at the time. It's just an old bookseller which had from 1997. I think I saved it because it just had a lot of penguin content in it, so I saved it for that reason. Penguin History Catalogue from 1984. Collett's Penguin Bookshop in Charing Cross Road. I mean, that's sadly no longer there, but that's where this one came from. This is a dedicated Penguin History Catalogue. And all this sort of stuff is great when you collect a particular publisher. 1998, Penguin General Books. Quite a nice lavish catalogue, this one, of everything that was published back then. Let's see, Penguin Representatives. It would have been my friend Douglas for the Southwest. Let's see if his name is in here. I can see Bristol, Bath and Wiltshire. Gatwick, Southwest London. Where's for the Southwest? Bristol, Bath. Ah, possibly on this side. No, I couldn't see him. But that would have been my friend Douglas, the Penguin rep. He was still repping for them back then. This is one which is quite a nice catalogue. World of Penguin. I believe this one, once again, it was one that you could buy at the time. 50 years of Penguin. Look at that straight away. That advert there for the Fighting Fantasy books. And this is fairly easy to get hold of. You can pick these up off eBay for about £5. It's a really great sort of snapshot of what Penguin were publishing back then. Nicely illustrated as well. Yeah, pretty nice little piece of ephemera. I've had a couple of these through my hands, so they do turn up, you know. That's the World of Penguin. There's something a bit more modern again. This was July to December 1998, Penguin Press. They were pushing the boat out with all their catalogues, weren't they? But I had an account with Penguin back then, and we were selling them in the shop. So we would be sent all the sort of Penguin. This was their sort of quarterly one, and I've got a few of these, but it looks like, I've got a couple here anyway to show you. May, June, July 98 again. It's sort of very pulpy paper, but this was the complete Penguin catalogue with an order form in the middle. It was the whole thing. So quite a big piece, that one. I've got this one as well, which I'll show. This is a similar one. This is earlier, 1996. It's got the Red Dwarf books on the back. But it's a similar sort of thing. Very, very pulpy. But, they are almost 30 years old now. And it was for use by the book trade only. And it was the complete Penguin list. And boy, what a list. This was one that I think, this came out in the early 90s, Roald Dahl's Guide to Railway Safety, illustrated by Quentin Blake. And this is a sealed one, but it had the Intercity Explorer pack, got a little Intercity pencil inside as well. And it's all sort of puffin content inside. Quite a nice little piece, that one, and that's a really nice sort of sealed example of that. Now this is the Penguin Book News, and I absolutely love this one. This is the only one I've got, but they're actually really nice, and they do turn up. It's just, for some reason, I've just not ended up getting that many of them. This one was the Hemingway re-releases were sort of celebrated in this particular issue. But yeah, quite nice. So they're worth looking out for. Yes, this next one, I can't really remember where I got it from. It's got Puffin 50 logo there. The Story of Puffin Books, written by Sally Gritton. I'm not sure if this was published by Penguin or what. I just can't remember. Introduction, The Promise of Penguins. It does look official, doesn't it? So whether this was handed out to booksellers or given away as a freebie in bookshops, I honestly can't remember. But it's quite a nice one, that. And I just can't remember how I came about it, if it was just given away. So once again, answers in the comments below. Our favourite classics. This was a Waterstones one. Best classics. Oh look, front cover design by Corgi Bickford-Smith. There you go. So if you're into Corgi Bickford-Smith, which we very much are on this channel, then you might want to pick one of these up. 2007. There you go. That's when this was published. 2007. Let's look at their classics list from back then. Very cool, very cool. The Rough Guide to Picture Books. This was a great book, absolutely great book this, and I like the rough guides. And once again, this is published through Waterstones. Looks like it's dated 2008, this one. Yeah, very nice publication that. They did a good job on that one. And I do like the rough guides as an entity. I think they're very nice. The Puffin Handbook. Happy birthday, Puffin. Once again, this is for 70 years of Puffin, so much later. But once again, a really nice little book to have. Looking at the current stuff as well as a bit of backlist. Good stuff. Let's move them to one side. Penguin Classics Catalogue. Now, when did this one come out? It says it's got £2 on the back, so it's actually one that you could buy. Doesn't actually have a date by the look of it. Must be dated somewhere, but I seem to remember maybe late, maybe 2000, something like that. quite a nice jacket on that one. Now, I remember these coming out. This one's dated 1999. A Penguin Classics catalogue from there, 1999. Once again, distributed through Waterstones, and it was just a freebie that you could pick up. But quite a publication, this, isn't it? And they did also do one around a little bit earlier. So that was 1999. This is 94, 95. A Penguin Classics catalogue. Similar sort of thing. With a postcard as well. And then the 94, 95 20th Century Classics, so Penguin Modern Classics. This one's very, very nice to have. I think this is quite scarce, this one. This is quite expensive. And I've got a few from this period as well. Very, very nice to have. Then the last one is this one, which is an absolute great, great book, and I think has got quite scarce. The Penguin Story, the Book of Penguin. I remember being given a couple of these by my friend Douglas, the Penguin Rep. Here it is, the history of the publishing company. And once again, it's quite difficult to find these days, and copies, you know, £10 plus at least. And it's a great one. It's a great little history of the publisher. Well worth tracking down. Yeah, good stuff. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed looking through those vintage catalogues from all manner of publishers. I think there are some fantastic stuff there, some quite rare stuff as well, I would imagine. Yeah, just good to see. Anything books about books, or old publishers and bookseller catalogues, bookshop promo stuff, I absolutely love it. And I think, you know, most of my viewers do as well. So I hope you've enjoyed looking through that as much as I did. If you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage paperback content. And I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.